We've all had those little and big missteps in our lives. What if we're wrong? What if they're just choices on the way to consciousness? Welcome to the Missteps of Consciousness TV show with Hayden and Julie.
Lips, just black and red lips.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the darkest hour with me and my dark puppet, or very bright puppet, I should say, Julie Andrew. Hi.
Well, I was going to say happy anniversary, but happy
Whoa.
Halloween, everyone.
When did we get married?
We've got dressed up. So the Missteps TV show is having a Halloween special tonight. So welcome everyone. So I've dressed up as Raggedy Ann, the doll. I remember because I Raggedy Ann, and she had a dress like this, and she had her hair braided. And Hayden, who are you being?
I'm being me.
The dark side. Ooh, I like that. The evil, the darkness,
Yes. I am one with the darkness and the shadow.
ooh.
Yes. I'm going to stop doing that voice though because it hurts.
For half an hour. So Hayden, so what is going to be our conversation tonight? And like, we can talk about Halloween. I've had all these kids before, and I've had no candy because I haven't chose to give out candy.
Oh.
But, what are we going to talk about with Halloween? Are we going to talk about entities? What are we going to talk about?
I was going to talk about entities and the culture of it. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so would we like to start with entities?
I may ask you to take your hood out so I can see you.
Hello. Oh, I'm suddenly light of darkness, Hayden. Yes.
And what is darkness and evilness? And let's talk about something a little bit. Because this is pretty cool about entities and Halloween and how Halloween is so scary. And one of the original where Halloween is actually a celebration of All Saints Day, of all the saints and all the people that died. Like Halloween started off a long time ago. So it's interesting when we talk about entities and we all get grown up and it's done scary.
Yeah.
So the conversation I like to have is about, the scariness and things that we actually say is really bad and we actually make ourselves bad that are actually isn't. So there is things that, people do unconscious and are very unkind and uncaring and really cruel and just not on. And there's other things that we get told or labeled that is bad and we actually take it on. So even like with entities, oh my God, entities, Halloween is so bad. Well, what if it's actually not? And what if it's not actually scary?
Yeah.
And so I would love to have a whole conversation and a show about how much fun is Halloween, and what if entities are just people without bodies?
Heck yeah, let's do that.
That's the conversation.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
So tell me a bit about the way you communicate or what entities are to you. Like, do you see entities? Do you hear entities? Like, what's your reality? What's your world? Because you know my world, and I'm pretty open about talking about entity on camera, and I really like to know what's your world with entities.
My world with entities. I keep doing the voice.
Your world.
My world with entities is I'm definitely aware of them all the time, even when I'm not willing to be aware of them all the time. So I can walk into a room and not see them, but know they're there, and just know that energy of them there, and there can be millions hiding in the shadows or whatever, but I know they're there. But like one of the main places I can pick up, like I see entities, in fact, is actually the gym, which is super weird. Yeah.
So, when we're talking about entities and what entities like if someone asked you, well, what are you talking about entities? What would that be? Like, what's the definition of an entity to you?
Hmm. I know entities as just people. They're people without bodies, but we can call them the spirits, demons, whatever, like the ghosts that have been left behind. But they're literally people, like stuck. Hmm.
Entities can be life living life form. Like our show
Hmm.
is its own entity itself. Businesses has an energy, a name has an energy, it has its life, has that entity. They actually call it an entity in this reality.
Yes.
So, we're not just talking about people without bodies, and especially it's like Halloween. You know, um, you know, the reality I would love with entity, that people are not scared of entity. That entities are just like you and me having a conversation. That's what I would love in the world.
Hmm.
That's one of my targets, is that kids, that are growing up and are aware of, they say the boogeyman or something, they are so aware, or they see things in their room, or they hear things.
Hmm.
To have that nurturing and that having that caring energy of, yeah, it's not your imagination. Yeah.
Hmm.
And that imagination friend that you had, what if it really was and
Yeah,
is and
that
has
was,
been an entity?
yeah.
Like I had two animals. I had a stuffed dog, and I had a teddy bear.
Hmm.
And like looking in some of my photos, I would definitely had my animals around.
Hmm.
And so the more I, like get older, and I really know in my world, entities are all around. I see entities. I talk to entities. Entities are just like, people that I'm talking without a body.
Hmm.
That's what entities are. And it is real and really true to me. And as a child, it really was the same too. I saw them everywhere.
Hmm.
It wasn't true for my parents and even my sister. So, like, call me crazy? Yeah, in their
Yeah.
reality, it would be crazy because they didn't see entity. They didn't see spirit.
Yeah.
But for me, yeah, I do.
Yeah.
And like now, I see them all the time. And the more that um, I'm kind to me and acknowledge that is my reality, that is my world,
Hmm.
more entities are turning up.
Hmm.
I can actually hear and see them. So, it's really cool.
Yeah.
Um,
And
what
that's not a
entities?
bad thing, I was gonna say. Like, because you quickly briefed over it before, where entities aren't good nor bad. They've literally got choice like us of what they're gonna choose. It's not just.
Yeah, they do. And then usually a lot of them, when they pass over, like, some of them don't even know they've got bodies, and
Hmm.
like a lot of them. And there is so many different myths and beliefs about entities. We're
Hmm.
not here about changing your beliefs or your myths about entities. What we're saying is what's true and real for us.
Yeah.
And this is a conversation for both of us and to anyone out there, that what's true for you is completely different what's true for real for me.
Yeah.
And I know entities are scary. Um, they're all around, and they are amazing, and they can assist you in your life. Um, and it's just, like, to me, I'm not crazy. I see entities, and
Hmm.
it's a gift for me.
Hmm.
It's a cannot really acknowledge how much I'm aware of, um, people without bodies around. It's really interesting. And, it's around in this reality. So tell me, Hayden, when did you first notice that you were aware, that you knew you could communicate with entities?
I don't remember doing it as a child. I know I did it as a child. I just don't remember a point in time when I did it. The more
Okay.
I'd say I've definitely become aware of me being able to talk to them and clear them has been in the last 3 years, as
Yeah.
that's become more of my reality.
Because it's really cool to talk to entities and have a conversation with entities.
Mm.
Because a lot of entities, are just trying to get your attention.
Yeah.
Like, when I actually, like, sometimes my head will go racing, or I hear lots and lots of voices, and a lot of people say, mental health, and it's like, well, no, I'm hearing lots.
I'm just really fucking aware.
I'm just really aware of lots of different voices.
Mm.
And so for me, it's like acknowledging that they're actually getting my attention. When I acknowledge, okay, you're getting my attention, cool, they actually quiet down a lot too.
Mm.
And it's a topic that, lots of people have very, different points of views about it.
Mm.
But I have a point of view that they're just, they're
Yep.
just people that are passed over, are not around.
Yeah.
And they still want to talk to you. So it is interesting when I'm talking to people and I can hear someone talking to me and actually talking to the other person too.
Yeah.
It's quite funny in my world, because I go, oh, all right, that's really cool. And I love the Access Consciousness tools that I use with entities.
Mm.
Because even before I started using the Access Consciousness tools, I was a medium anyhow. So, I had a wellness center, and people came to me to see, and ask me questions about loved ones that have passed over and all like that.
Mm.
What I found with the Talk to the Entity tools through Access Consciousness, I have a different awareness, and I have a different, I perceive entity. I had a lot of judgment on about me, about entities, and the way I communicated with entities.
Mm.
And with the tools of Access Consciousness and Talk to the Entity, I was able to, clear things that were quite limiting points of views that were actually holding me back communicating with entities.
Mm.
And I was using my filters and my judgments about entities, and that's actually clearing. So it's actually a lot more easier for me now to talk to entities.
Yeah.
And not to have a filter, and know when I do have a filter. And what I mean by that, people, if you're listening to this, is actually a filter just means points of views,
Mm.
just judgments, and other people's judgments that you've taken on as your own, and you're buying as real and true, about what entities actually are.
Yeah. Well, I'm
Yeah.
wondering, when you asked that, how many entities were listening there? And what's it going to take for them to give us money?
Really, plenty, and a lot of entities are around. It's, it's really cool having someone who, is asking, well, is willing to listen. Like, I don't have a point of view. I don't need to get my point of view across with the entity. So it's really, it's what entities require.
Mm.
And I always say, if an entity wants to talk to me, or wants someone, they want me to talk to someone, I always say, bring them to me. You actually bring them to me. If I don't know the person,
Mm.
it's not about me going out there. It's about them bringing them to me.
Mm.
Or, sometimes entities just require a word or energy, and then they actually go.
Yeah.
Sometimes they haven't had that in your life.
Mm.
And then you know, for you being so willing to be there for entities. Sometimes it's just, you know, a certain energy and then they go.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Oh God, I was going to say something. I was going to
What are you gonna
ask
say?
how often entities just come to you, literally just to be cleared, so they can go on all the time.
Yeah, yeah, true. And a lot of times they do. They want a certain energy. They require a
Mm.
certain energy. So when they require a certain energy, I'm willing to be that certain energy. So that's pretty cool.
You're willing to be the bigger demon.
I don't have a point of view. Like for me, entities are really easy.
Mm.
And the more I use these access consciousness tools and like talk to the entity, like
Mm.
I love talk to the entity because it's about empowering what you know about entities. It's not about following what you've been told by someone else. It's actually tapping into trusting and knowing what you know about entities. Um, and I say that. That's a question I ask myself. Like, what do I know about entities that no one else knows? Um, and so it's actually empowering me with my awareness and what I know without, giving someone else saying, well, what do you know about entities to someone else? Um, it's really trusting that, I know something about entities and I listen to them.
Listen to them.
I acknowledge them. It's really cool. And I heard a question is, like if you're on the other side and you're trying to get attention and people are not listening, what do you be feeling like? So for
Would you?
me, it's really cool. It's really cool to acknowledge that
Yeah.
because, for me to be on the other side, that'd be really cool that someone acknowledged that, hey, I'm on the other side.
I'd throw plates and stuff to see if people would wake up. Does that happen? I'm curious because I've never seen it happen with any of the entities I've come across, but does that happen? Where it's like,
Can you say that again?
you know how in the movies they portray these entities and they're like, they throw stuff around and they break shit. Does that happen?
Yeah, look, it's really interesting. A lot of things that you see in the movie isn't correct. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. What I'm saying is correct.
Mm.
I've seen things move. I've actually, have been dragged out of bed. I've had sheets moved on me.
Yeah.
I've felt someone touching me and all like that.
Yeah.
Again, like I was saying at the start, it's the way you actually filter it through. And if you have no fear and it's not scary, you don't have a point of view that they're there to hurt you. And even the scary ones, well, you drop your barriers, you drop being scared.
Yeah.
You actually can create change in a entity. So what you do see a lot on TV and on that isn't correct. And yes, and there's a lot of like entities in like with religion too. And I'm gonna bring it up. There's a lot of fear based. Well, it's fear. It's all this fear and scare with entities. And that's what I like about Talk to the Entity is like if you didn't have your filters and you drop your barriers down and you had no point of view and you were in allowance, um, with entities, I just wonder what entities would be like in your world. When you're not in allowance, an allowance is not agreeing or agreeing with something or resisting or reacting, and just being an allowance of what's true and real for you with entities. And that's what Talk to the Entity has really showed me is everything that I thought was real and true for me with entities weren't. And by able to be in an allowance of what I know about entities and then really discovering and starting to be really present with what I know about entities has just changed how entities are to me
Mm.
and in my world and with me. Because you know, I'm not agreeing with someone else's point of view. I'm not reacting or existing. I'm going, well, what's real and true for me with entities? And it is such a different thing of when you be an allowance of what is true and real for you.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I've had a few clients today and we've been talking about what's real and true for you.
Mm.
And so, you know, again, you know, what is real and true for you with entities? And that's a question, not to get an answer or lining or agreeing or resisting or reacting.
Mm.
But what is true with you, like with entities?
Yeah.
It's really cool.
So you could ask, like, am I aware of entities? Yes. Alright. Can I...
Yeah.
Yeah. Do I have to change this? No. Stuff like that. Yeah.
And what do you know with entities? Like, your whole world with entities is different from my world from entities, and different, you know. So, if like having what's true and real for you, and to
Yeah.
say, hey, you know, like this is my world, this is my reality
Yeah.
with entities,
Yeah.
and there's no right or wrong way of the way you have. Um, the way you communicate, or this is the way you can communicate so entities can talk to you, or this is how you summon something
Mhm.
like that.
Mhm.
What if that's actually not true and real for you? Like for me, it's not.
Mm.
It's, you know, for me, it's just ask questions. You know, when I'm aware of, you know, an entity around, and there's different signs for me. Like if I can hear voices, I hear voices. If sometimes, you know, my eyes will start watering,
Mm.
or a song will come on, or my radio gets turned on,
Yeah.
or something like that. And so I'll go straight into a question. And like my question is there an entity here? Is there an entity trying to communicate with me? Or, you know, is there an entity? My favorite one is an entity, you know, asking for my attention.
Mm.
Is the main thing. When I have a lot of activity, like yesterday, and today's been a lot of activity, it's Halloween. So I go, all right, is there entities? Like, is there entities, you know, asking for my attention? Um, and for me, just even by acknowledging that and giving my attention, even for 5 minutes, it just is a big ease and calmness in my world. And I'm learning, and it's a muscle, everyone. For me, it's definitely a muscle to build. Because I know when I first started with talk to the entities,
Yeah.
and then really using the tools with that, and then really discovering, and what talk to the entities really did for me, it's really discovered that I have my own reality, my own world with entity, not a formula, not what other people say.
Mm.
I have my own reality with them. That just has opened, and you know, I have a lot more joy in my life now because I'm not trying to get it right with entities. I'm not getting it wrong with entities.
You're not trying
I'm
to
actually
save the world from entities? No.
well, no, that's in service.
Yeah.
I don't want to save the word. I want to create with entities. So that's quite different too.
Could
Yeah,
we...
well, you know, a lot of us, we talk about what we're trying to save entities or try to save people when they go over and
Mm.
you know, they go over to the other side.
Mm.
I don't want to save them. I want to create with them. So
Yeah.
when people, you know, entities or people die, I love to create
Yeah.
instead of going, well, you know, I have to save you. I don't need to save people. No one needs saving.
No.
That's just,
They can do it themselves.
I don't need saving.
Well, that's different. Creating with an entity instead, like having them as a business partner, that can, like, because you can literally ask them, hey, can you contribute money to me? Like, this is everything. You can ask this to your car, you can ask this to just, I'll call them stray entities for now. They're just,
And it is a different way. Like it is a different way of what we're asking entities. I know
Yeah.
with our business and with the different things, we have entities always creating with us.
yeah, Steppy's always been like,
So
more, 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 more.
so it is really different. It is. You can have entities contributing to you.
Mm.
Even they talk about like different the angels and the saints contributing. Any entities that is willing to contribute for greater and more and those
Mm.
they can contribute as much as we can. Like what we were just saying, we have it, and we know it's a different concept. We know it sounds strange, and it can definitely be different, and it is different.
Yeah.
But for us, I know with you and me, it works for us having different entities contributing to the business.
Yeah.
It is really different. It's really cool, and I have no judgment on that. So
I have no point of view.
cool. I have no point of view.
Cool.
Wow, we've been going for half an hour.
I know. Would we like to go any longer, or be good with entities? We kind of.
Cool.
I kind of wanted to just show off my outfit and talk about entities. Sounds to get any better than that.
I want to show my really top red hair and plaited and how I'm and talk about one of my favorite topic is entities.
Yeah.
Like I do love talking about this.
Yeah.
This is really cool.
It's one of your abilities, like, because when you were talking about it.
I've been made wrong about it too. Like I've been made wrong and I've even made myself wrong about it. It isn't like entities. Like if there's people out there watching, go, yeah, I talk to entities too, and you make yourself wrong about it. Please don't. You don't require to. You don't need to.
But be aware of the entities as well. Be very aware of them.
Well, you can have tricksters. We know that. I
Oh,
remember one of your tricksters.
fucking.
Remember you used to come into the centre and we used to clear this prankster?
Yeah.
Used to prank us all the time.
Yeah.
Ah!
I was a real mean asshole before we got. Oh, well, actually, I wasn't. I was just doing his bidding. I was like, the trickster with a knife, like, who'd cut a hole in someone's boot and then put a snake in there.
And then look so really innocent and
Yeah.
go, oh, I'm Hayden.
Oh,
like,
I
and we're not anyone. We're not saying we don't take responsibility.
Yeah.
When you're aware about entities, and they're not even aware when there's entities, it's called pranksters. They can be around. And it was just like, I still remember that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. And the best thing is, I just realized that was my choice to let that entity take over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's again, it's not shying away from responsibility. We do choose it. We may not even be aware that we actually choose it.
We may not want to know we choose it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for me, it was easier to have all the entities. It's easier for me to check out than, be here. Sometimes it was really tough for me to actually be here. But now, so if this actually resonates you and you think like sometimes you're going crazy because, things seems like you're talking to things or, things are talking to you. Well, most of the probably things are talking to you or entities are talking to you. So it's not that you're going crazy. You're not going. You don't have a mental illness or anything like that. If I listen to so many people telling me that I had a mental illness and there was something wrong with me because I heard things, I would, and so for me it's like, no, it was definitely, I see entities, I hear entities, so, yeah, that's really cool.
Oh,
It's
cool.
cool for not making myself wrong anymore.
Yeah.
And being able to come out and talk about it and not be ashamed or distracted from shame and guilt.
Not having to hide it,
It's
be in the
I
shadows.
don't have to hide it.
Yeah.
I don't have to, and it is out in the world. You know, people talk about it.
Yeah.
People. So.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's wrap up. I wanna keep celebrating Halloween.
Spooky. I mean,
Thank you for the Halloween,
spooky.
and thank you for letting me chat and
Gra-
talk about one of my favorite topics.
Gratitude, dole. Dole.
Gratitude. Namaste.
Namaste. I have so much fun saying that now.
And
Yeah.
gratitude. And
Gratitude.
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 Cool.
All right, see you next time. We'll
Bye
see you
bye.
for our weekly show this week.
Mhm.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. I mean, bye.